We have just over a month with WWE 2K25 in our hands. Yes, that is right, just over a month. Time flies. The Bloodline Edition released on March 7th, and we still got a couple more days for the Standard Edition 1 month anniversary, but nah, I've been playing this game since then. So let's go on ahead and get into it. Let's talk about it, man. I have over 250 hours on WWE 2K25. So yes, I think that qualifies me to be able to give a second opinion after a month on a game. Yes, 250 hours is a lot of time. Call me whatever you want to call me. I don't care. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe if you guys have been enjoying the content. Let's go on ahead and get into it. Starting off with gameplay. Now, I still stand on what I said in the initial review. I think that the gameplay is the most consistent we've seen yet in WWE 2K25, but I dealt with a lot of encounters online with players who were abusing certain things. Now, if you guys did not keep up with the updates this week, 2K did go on ahead and take care of that, but I'm strictly speaking on my first 250 hours experience. Now, the experience post-patch has gotten much better, but people were spamming chops and backwards cartwheels and all types of stuff. It was just a not so great experience. But if you are an online player, like to play 1v1 matches, this experience could be much better for you. I just felt like at the time before the patch, I was like, man, I don't know what they got going on here, but it seems like they're finding ways to balance certain things. So I will go out there and say now that the gameplay is in a much better place online, but during my first month of playing this game online a whole lot, it wasn't a cool experience. Now back to offline gameplay. Post patch, it seems like they added steel step physics, which actually make the game really cool to play, and I think that it's like a super dope thing where you can slam your opponent and it almost looks like they go inside of the steel steps. So I think that that's really cool too, but I feel like gameplay offline, I feel like you're not gonna find a lot of flaws aside from the stun meter, which you can obviously turn off for offline players. So I feel like we are in a good spot, but I feel that they still need to get away from this mechanic in the future, because the guessing game and the stun meter and everything like that still is online, and I feel like that is a really big just negative part of the game when you play online and even offline at times. Like, I just don't feel like, you know, getting stunned for 30 seconds should be a thing. That's just me though. MyRise. This story was actually really good, and again, I'm not going to elaborate too much on parts of the story because if you watch the initial review, you know. Now, the only thing that I do have to complain about is the fact that we had to play this about 4 times to unlock everything, and I'm not happy about that. I feel like that should not be a thing. Actually, that should never be a thing, to play a story 4 different times. And yes, there are different scenarios here and there. I just can't justify playing it 4 times all throughout. I feel like once you finish it the first time, you should be able to go back in and play what you haven't played yet and not play the whole thing. Just me though, you know what I mean? I know some people enjoy that type of stuff, and I love unlockables. If you guys look at my MyFaction, you guys can see that I have pretty much every Persona card, but that I personally didn't enjoy. That's just me though. So just something to put out there, man. Hopefully they do work on this in the future. Universe mode. Now, for the first 250 hours, I'm not gonna lie guys, for certain bits and pieces, I found myself struggling to continue playing this mode for long periods of time because I felt that there was just not much going on. Like, the promos are good. The mode is actually in a much better spot than a lot of years. Much more advancements. I mean, it's just a better mode overall, but I still feel like there wasn't a hook in the mode. And I'm not gonna lie, this patch that just dropped has me glued to the mode, and the reason why is because I finally feel like there's a payoff in my PLEs. I can cash in my PLEs. I just think that it is a much better mode post patch. Now, we do understand there are things that are broken, such as custom matches and things like that, and that's a pet peeve of mine because I actually like running my custom matches in the universe mode, but unfortunately that's not something that we can do just yet because it still does not work as clean as it should. So that's one thing for me that has been bothering me. Universe mode isn't perfect, but it is much better post patch. But pre-patch, I still felt like there was something missing, and post-patch I feel the same way. I feel like the promos are a little bit anticlimactic, and I'm always going to stand on that. I feel like there is some cool features and some cool branching options, but I feel like there is just still not enough when it comes to promos. But I do understand that this is the first iteration of promos being back, and again, I get it, but I just feel like there's something there that's not hooking me just yet on the promos. I really like the fact that they're in there and they're cool to throw in, but I wish that there was just something more with them, but that's just me. The Island. I'm not gonna lie, y'all, I haven't played this since the first week. The island of me, man, it's pretty much, I don't want to say a wash, but I feel like it's just a concept where it's a really cool concept, and I like the idea of the island, but it hasn't just been executed the way that it needs to be. I don't enjoy playing for banners and just things like that. I want something more solid. I do have a full-time job, for those that don't know, so I don't really want to put in my time into a mode that, you know, is not rewarding me the correct way, and that's just the way I feel about it. I just can't sit there and play that mode for long periods of time. At the time, there were people spamming chops and everything like that, so I personally stayed away from that mode as much as possible because I just felt that it just wasn't in a good place overall gameplay wise, and there was just no balance between the spammers and the people who are just looking to play the game for fun. That's just one of my things and my pet peeves with that. Now again, the mode is fun, but there is just not enough for me to continue playing it. Hopefully it is something that we can look into, you know, in the future. Maybe the next update there is more. The fact that I can't play with my friends on there makes that mode just hard to get on there, because that was the whole idea for me when I was excited for this game, was the ability, or I thought that I was going to have the ability to play with my friends. So that is definitely something that is disappointing, and the island really hasn't panned out to what I thought it was going to be, and I can only just speak on that. I know some people have different frustrations with the mode, but those are just my thoughts, you know, in my 250 hours of playing this game and every other mode I've been able to touch in here. MyFaction. Surprisingly, man, I love MyFaction, I ain't gonna lie. And again, I spent money on it, but even before I spent money, you know, I was enjoying it. I mean, I really have not too many big complaints. Now, obviously, they can get greedy at times. You see Randy Orton 09 on there, you know, that whole situation that happened. We spoke about it on the channel. I like to call them out on things that I see that are wrong, and I like to commend them on things that are right. I feel like the mode has taken some steps forward, and I'm actually enjoying it, and I'm always looking forward to see what content drops and live events are on there. This mode keeps me coming back to the game. It also gives me some stream content. If you don't follow me on Twitch, make sure y'all going ahead and follow me on Twitch, man. Show me some love over there. But yeah, aside from that, personally, man, I feel like MyFaction is in a much better place than last year. There are some things wrong with it still that they still need to address. I would love a co-op mode where I can play with my friend who has another card. Just different things like that I would personally like to see, but I understand that, you know, everything can't happen right away. But all in all, after my 250 hours, my review still stands as I think it stands. You know, I feel like this game is solid. I will talk about the servers in another video because that deserves its own video on its own, but I do feel like this game is a step forward still from 2K24. Are there things wrong? Yes. Did the patch fix a lot of those things? Yes, but we also took some step backwards in other facets of the game as well. So there are still some things wrong with this game, but I feel like we are in a much better place overall after this patch. So again, I have to go back and actually redo this video because the patch came out and I didn't want to talk about something in the past tense, and that's just what it is for me, man. I'm enjoying this game. This is the most hours I've put into a game since I don't even know when. 2K24, I played a lot, but the amount of hours I put into this already is kind of crazy, I'm not gonna lie. But before we go on ahead and get up out of here, man, prayers to DR, bro. If you guys don't know, I am Dominican. They're going through a lot over there, and I just, you know, I like to share my culture with the people, so that's just something big going on, man. But prayers to them. If you guys did enjoy this content, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. I'm gonna catch y'all. Peace.